Good evening and welcome to Sporlitiks, where sports and politics mix and mingle. I'm Stacey Johnson. Joining me tonight is Keith, the constitutional conservative, Stephen, the independent thinker, Aguna, the voice of reason, and my cousin Todd. We have a full show for you tonight. President Trump says he gave House Republicans a pep talk today about his budget and the tax bill. Stephen with NASCAR. So the Supreme Court takes on birthright citizenship. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark interaction in the WNBA. What can you make of it? Habeas corpus. What is it? And what happens if we lose it? Pope Leo says family based on a union between a man and a woman. He also defends the dignity of the unborn. The pontiff also stressed the inherent dignity of the elderly and immigrants and called on leaders to work toward peace. President Trump and Secretary Hegseth made or will make a national security announcement tonight. The president says Russia and Ukraine will immediately start ceasefire negotiations, and world leaders threaten concrete actions against Israel. In the United States, low-income migrants are being fined up to $1.8 million. We'll talk about that and more. First up, if we can fit more in, Stephen with NASCAR. Stephen, what is going on with NASCAR?
Well, this last race was an all-star race. And like everything else that's all-star on this show, we all have the same consensus is we're not that crazy about all-star shows. So I have to admit, I went to the river, spent the whole day at the river, and didn't watch any of the all-star race. And I could have watched it today too, and I had a few minutes to watch, but I didn't. And I should have. And I heard it was pretty good.
What
and
about
I think somebody won $1 million or something, but it's just an all-star race. It doesn't count with the points. It doesn't mean anything for the season. So you kind of just like, I don't even know who won. But this week, it's going to be Charlotte. It's going to be a great race. This is one to look forward to. And these cars, even though they have their limitations and the things that are screwed up about them, we will put that aside. They're really good here at Charlotte. And the one you have to look out for is, of course, Kyle Larson. At least take him for a top 3, top 5, something. Put something, $1 on him, and you can win some money or take him to win for $1 because he's really got it dialed in this year. There's a few other people. You got Denny Hamlin. You got Riddick is on the Michael Jordan team. There's a few people that could do pretty good, but it's just something about Larson this year. He's amazing, and if he gets the fresh air and he's up front, if he can start near the front. There's nobody that can pass him. He's got a great car, got a great team. Everything's going well. So that's what I would look for. I'm going to take him to I had him to win the race before this race. I took him to win, and he won because it was absolutely so obvious. He started on the pole. If Kyle Larson ever starts on the pole, take him. I don't care. Put $1, put $2, put $10, put something on him because he's going to do something. If not win, he's going to get a top 3. So he's amazing. NASCAR this week's going to, like I said, Charlotte. It's going to be a wonderful race. I can't wait for it. It's great to get back to racing. It seems like a long time, but it was only one weekend. It's basically a weekend off for most race fans like me. And I'm looking forward to this weekend. It's going to be a great race, and I would advise everybody to check this race out. I do believe it's going to be a great race. I'd be shocked if it's not.
Okay. I think I do have a little clip of this NASCAR race if you want me to show this.
That'd be great.
All right, let me get it up here for you. There we go.
Ryan Priest at the back of his hauler over here. Ryan had an extremely fast number 60 car tonight or this afternoon. Talk me through what happened on the front straightaway with the box and how difficult it was to see.
I mean, it's really non-existent from inside the car. You can't see it. So I just hooked a hard left going across the line, figuring it's in that area. And then I started getting to clean my tires because it's, as you can see, there's a lot of rubber caked up here. And what are you going to do? So I'm frustrated because if you have a situation like that, put a cone out there so we can visually see it. Just frustrated. But I think the thing to be said about it is our Boston Common Golf Ford Mustang was super fast, could run in the way top and get around guys and not waste time. And I think we were really the only one that was making some ways. So frustrated, man. We were in position there. Just heartbreaking to have a run like that taken away by somebody up in the tower.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Jamie?
And a bit of a heartbreaker for Shane Van Gisbergen, led 54 laps there. You guys opted to take 4 tires, Shane. How did that car change once you got back in traffic?
Yeah, I don't know whether to smile or cry. It's been a dismal year for us, but, I feel like we're getting better every week, and this shows it. It was awesome to lead some laps. WeatherTech Chevy was really good, and then I was out front, like driving like a grandma. It felt like it was easy, but still I felt like the tires were going to go off. So Stephen and I discussed it. We took 4, and yeah, it just seems to be more temperature sensitive and dirty air. And once I was back there, no grip, and I put myself in some bad spots too. But man, it was awesome to lead laps. We're getting better.
And it got physical back there. I saw you talking. Our cameras caught you talking to Todd Gilliland. What did you guys discuss there?
Oh, not too much. I gave him a little spray, but it is what it is. I seem to race hard, and it's one way, so I gave a little back, and he wasn't happy. But whatever, I don't really mind.
Job well done tonight, though, Shane. Thank you.
And that was a bad decision by them because that's an example of, like I was saying earlier, you want to be up front and be in the clean air. These cars can't take the dirty air. So if you take 4 tires on a pit stop, you put yourself further back in the pack. And there's no way to pass these people on some of these tracks. Like this was North Wilkesboro in North Carolina. And it's hard to pass on these smaller tracks with these cars. So they never should have taken 4 tires. They should have taken 2 tires, and they had a better chance to win because they'd have had more fresh air. And that's what it all comes down to. And that's how people, even though racing is so much different, people are going to have to understand they have to adjust what they do in the pits and the different strategies that they can come up with to win the races. And that's what Larson and a few others have figured out. They'll go into the pits and take no tires, just get some gas and go because you want to stay up front. And I think that's what people are going to have to do until they adjust these cars and make them a little different. But right now, if you're in the back of the pack, you have a 70% chance of passing somebody. If you're up near the front, you have about a 90% chance of passing somebody. So they got to be smart. Don't put yourself in the back of the pack during the pits or do something stupid. So that's what it's all about. So they're going to figure this out. It's still early in the year. We're not even halfway there yet. So it's very competitive with everybody. It's still very exciting for NASCAR. So we'll see what happens.
Okay. Sounds good. Do you want to talk about Caitlin Clark and Reese? I forgot her first name just that quick.
Yeah.
WNBA. They had a few words.
I saw the play.
I think you mean Caitlyn Jenner.
Another one. Another Caitlin.
Oh.
Caitlin Clark is a big WNBA star, Todd. And of course, you wouldn't know her.
Oh, no. I thought, see, they're fixated with transgenders, especially Bruce Jenner.
No, it's because she's white. That's why he doesn't care.
So is Bruce Jenner.
I don't care, but you do.
Oh. All right. So let me share the I'm going to share the play. Okay. There we go.
Racing ahead, sips it to Bonner, spinning. Wanted a whistle, didn't get it. Rebecca Allen, too strong on a 3. And look out, Caitlin Clark pushes Angel Reese, and Angel Reese gets right up into Caitlin Clark. Afterwards has something to say as Clark walks away.
They ought to call her Devil Reese, not Angel Reese.
always increased eyeballs, energy, and attention around the matchups between Reese and Clark, and Angel Reese is still going after Caitlin Clark in the aftermath.
Everyone in the arena had to know this foul was coming. As soon as you saw Angel Reese wide open, you knew that Caitlin Clark was going to come in and take that foul.
Well, tension's high a moment ago after a hard foul from Caitlin Clark on Angel Reese that Angel took exception to. So initially,
Angel fouled that girl to start with, and Angel Reese. I mean, the other girl, Caitlin,
Reese gets up right away to get in the face of Clark. Aaliyah Boston ends up getting between them. You'll see on this angle, the initial part seems okay from Clark, but then there's a shove at the end that I think should be upgraded to a flagrant one, because that seemed like unnecessary contact from Clark.
Yeah, I agree with you. And she goes in. There is a little bit extra there from Caitlin Clark in terms of the foul. It's definitely a hard foul. It's not a foul that's putting somebody in a position to get injured. But yes, I think it should be upgraded to a flagrant on Caitlin Clark because of that left arm as it wraps around and
right.
pushes.
The initial, you understood what Caitlin was doing initially because she sees a wide open layup. You'd rather put Reese in the line.
After review, the on-court ruling of a personal foul on Caitlin Clark has been upgraded to a flagrant foul penalty 1. In addition, there is a double technical on Boston and Reese, which offsets.
So there you go. The initial contact from Clark would have been a common foul, but that little extra shove in the end.
You'll see it from her left hand.
Right. Remember that little extension there. Yep. All you need is for the foul to be unnecessary, for it to rise to the criteria for it to be a flagrant foul penalty 1. You get a better angle of it here. That that push at the end is unnecessary. Yes. That's why it's a flagrant foul penalty 1 on Clark. Then Reese gets up, and that interaction between Boston and Reese results in offsetting technicals.
All right, so let's talk about that. Go ahead, Steven.
So it was an offset technical. Okay, so they were showing that Reese hit another player and fouled her, and then Caitlin Clark was pointing at her, and then Clark fouled her. So it just got negated, right? It went even, right, Stacey?
Yeah, it went even in terms.
Wait, let Steven finish.
No, I'm finished. I was asking her a question.
Mind your business, Todd. Mind your business. And you can't do anything about professional sports. So stay out of this. This is between people who know about professional sports, and it ain't you. Go ahead and talk about Michael Sam or somebody else on your way.
Oh, no.
Now,
he got that from Maguna.
He got him on the speed dial.
As I was saying, Steven asked me, the officials kind of made that cancel out. But, Angel Reese is a prima donna. First off, she got this, podcast, and she's interviewing all these big stars in the NBA and all sorts of things. And she's
cute. Be careful now, because I'll be talking after you.
Oh, I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say. She's cutesy. She knows she's cutesy. She went on her show and talked about how she brought her mother a house, all this other stuff. That's great. She knew, because she knows about money, she was not going to hit anyone because they were probably going to sue her and she was going to lose money. So all that coming after, putting a shirt up, that was all for show. Sit down, Miss Reese. Sit down.
Okay.
Clark was just fouling you because of the specific play. You know better than that. You play in the WNBA. You know what she was doing. You're just trying to get people talking so you have something to talk about on your podcast.
Right. That's right. You're right,
I can see you're a honky lover. So I'll get you straight on what
she doesn't see. Happened. We don't see color. We see facts.
Shut up. Now, this demon down the bottom, he called her a devil, which you quickly dismissed, Stacey.
No, I was talking to Steven, answering his question.
No,
Angel Reese.
Ma'am.
She agrees that she's more of a devil than an angel.
I didn't say she was a devil or an angel. I'm just saying,
I know, Stacey. I'm just joking.
Actress, and that's what she was doing. All that acting. So she
Okay. So
the devil made her do it. The devil made her do that.
She wasn't going to hit anybody because she wasn't going to get sued.
I want to finish.
Let's let Todd finish.
Finish what I would. Yeah.
Nobody
you-
cares what you have to say, Todd. We're going to go on.
Let Todd
Yeah, we're
finish.
moving on to the next subject, Todd. Sorry,
Let
bro.
Todd finish.
So-
Let Todd
Sorry,
finish.
Todd.
Now, Keith is saying let Todd finish because he's hoping I
Yes.
say something discriminatory. And so,
You already did.
no, I didn't. I just said the truth. Now, Stacy, with her two-faced self, she never addressed Stephen and said something like, oh, I don't know. How dare you call that black woman a devil, Lucifer?
You called everybody a blue-eyed devil.
Yep.
You mean I told the truth?
No, that's not the truth.
Okay. So anyway, he called her a devil, and you let that get by you somehow, Republican. But nevertheless, she fouled her flagrantly, but he never said anything about that. He just so busy calling the black girl the devil, and his boy toy loves it because
But
it
she
reminds him of his
had
mother.
flagrantly fouled somebody right before that happened. She had done
Get
that. That's
out
why
of
everything
my
was just wiped
face.
out.
Get out of my face.
She did the same thing.
So I'm moving on. You didn't call the white girl a devil, conveniently.
Because her name's not Angel.
So anyway, this is
Well,
what
I
racist,
saw 2 fouls. That's all I saw.
this is what
Right.
of course you did.
Yep.
So anyway, this is what racists do. They call black people devils, but then when white people
No,
do the same
I've
thing,
never called anybody a
Nobody.
devil. You always call white people
No.
would
devils.
you shut up? Then when white people do the same
I
thing,
just said she was devil because her name's Angel, and
why
she's
does
usually
he
mean.
keep talking over me, moderator?
Because she's mean.
Todd. You call
Yes,
people
moderator.
You call people names. You call people. You say things you shouldn't say.
Look at this. Two-Face. Hey, don't forget he called the black girl a devil. Remember that. Keep that in the forefront
Just because
of your
her name
mind.
is Angel.
I never
don't
called
I
her
was
a
being
devil.
kind of ironic.
All right.
Anyway,
Stephen, did you want to move on with anything else?
what?
I never
I'm-
called her a
I'm
devil.
not finished.
Nothing.
I wanted to end by saying
Anything with hockey? Anything with the NBA? Anything with
I think I said on the show last week, I don't know if I did or not, but I told somebody to bet on the Knicks that they were going to win. So I'm riding the Knicks now. If they're a favorite or not favorite, I'm going to take them with the points or take some points with them or whatever. I'm with the Knicks right now because they're a real gritty team and they showed everybody something when they won their series
I wasn't finished.
against Boston. So yeah, I'm still with the Knicks. Riding high with the Knicks, and
Ma'am,
I don't have a
finished.
whole lot on hockey right now. I'm more disappointed, but I think maybe the Panthers will win it all.
We got to let Todd finish.
Now,
I thought he was finished.
Thank
We
you.
all thought he was finished.
No,
he's
you
Yeah.
keep interrupting.
No, you're finished. You're all washed up. Now, it's funny, Stacy, with her two-faced self, was talking about she was performing, she was acting, she's just a performer. But why didn't you say that when white boys were doing that? Like, oh, I don't know. Remember, you watched a basketball game between, well, you're much older than I am. So, but you told me about Dr. J and this boy from Boston, a white boy who got into a fight. You didn't say they were acting because they make millions of dollars. They're just
Larry
acting.
Bird. He's talking about that white boy Larry Bird, which probably was the best basketball player who ever lived.
So you didn't say they were acting.
No, they won't. They won't
have
acting.
podcasts that they were promoting and having big stars on their podcast promoting their podcasts.
What difference does that make? They got into
That's
a
what made the
physical
difference.
altercation on the basketball floor.
And so does a lot of basketball players.
Yeah, so why did you choose her to say, oh, she's performing, she's an actress, but none of the boys are performing and are actresses?
I did get on Draymond Green. You don't remember that?
No, ma'am.
Of course you don't.
And wait a minute, was he black? Was he black?
Remember Draymond Green? Do you remember? Anybody remember that?
Or LeBron James, all he does is act. His whole thing is an act.
Rudy Gobert. Draymond Green and Rudy Gobert. Remember, he grabbed him and we talked about that. You don't remember that?
No.
Yeah.
And we said he must have some sort of anger management problem.
Yeah. If he was black, I'm sure you people said that. But you never say anything about these white hockey players beating each other to a bloody pulp.
Yeah, we did. We talked about that too. Remember, we talked about how
Keith
that's
and
what they
Steven
do in
said
the
that's
hockey.
entertainment. And Keith and Steven were all for it. That gets viewership.
No, neither one of us were really all for it. We said it's not as prominent as it used. They don't fight in hockey the way they used to do. They used to fight all the time.
They do. They still fight in hockey, but so
but
what?
not like they used to.
Green and James jawing at each other while play continues. LeBron James incensed. Remember, Draymond Green is one flagrant foul and 2 technicals away from being suspended.
He's got that on threes as Zubats gets the basket. And now we got a whistle, and a technical foul is called here. It's on Draymond Green. That's big. That's number 16, which means he's suspended for the next game. He is still barking.
Yeah, he can't throw the ball at people. Monk puts it up. And Curry's got the board. Green gets tied up. And a technical has been assessed. So that's it for Draymond Green. He's done.
Damn.
Oh, I see what he did to that white boy.
Remember this?
Got Rudy in a headlock. It's Draymond. Somehow Draymond just got Rudy around the neck from behind.
Remember we played this,
I
Todd?
can't believe what I just saw.
Just picked up his 3rd foul. And now Green runs over Nurkic, and he'll be called for the foul. And they're going to take a look at this. Oh, man. I think this may be the last of Draymond Green. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe they should just kick him out of the league.
And remember, we talked about that, Cousin Todd. And I said, specifically what I said, Cousin Todd, was that he had some anger management problems. He was stopped, suspended from the league for like 6 months. He had to go through some sort of mental health counseling. Remember, I talked about that, Todd? I said he had to go through some sort of mental health counseling. And, you know, he probably said whatever he needed to say to come back. But you know good and well, I said this on the show. I said, you know good and well, he has not resolved all of his anger management issues.
I don't even hardly remember that.
It's all a blur.
Oh,
I mean, yeah, it is. Yeah, but
someone acts like he's in a WWE wrestling match in the NBA.
Yeah,
and
he's
you're not
horrible.
supposed to act like that in the NBA. And then, Todd, what are you going to call me? You're going to say I'm being racist because he's acting like that?
Well, no, I'm going to say Stephen and Keith are racist because they love it when hockey players do it. All of a sudden, when basketball players do it.
You know what? Every now and then you see somebody do something stupid. It doesn't matter if it's hockey or basketball. That dude is just stupid and he needs to be set down. And he doesn't need to play basketball.
A two-faced con artist. There were how many fights, Stacey, within the first 9 minutes? I think she said there were 4 fights within the first 9 minutes.
But it's different, man. It's different for somebody just to be completely horrible to somebody else. A face-up fight face-to-face, that's different than what he does. He's a punk. He attacks people like a bum, like somebody who's a little punk. He sucker punches people, man. He's not a good guy. He's a bad guy. You stand face to face with somebody and fight. That's something different than if you hit them in the back of their head. And that's what Green does. I don't care what color he is. He's just not a good guy, man. Like he needs more help. Like Stacey said, he got some help. He needs more help, maybe.
Mental health issues.
He's got issues. So yeah, help him out. Help him out. I'm all for that. He's got a great future. Just get his head right.
You have mental issues yourself, Stephen.
Everybody has mental issues. We're all working through our own things, Todd.
Yeah, and you're working through yours, Todd. So let us
I have a sound mind. I have.
Oh yeah, Keith ain't got no mental issues.
Are you kidding me?
Right on.
What's your message to the holdouts?
Well, it's not a question of holdouts. We have a tremendously unified party. I don't think we've ever had a party like this. There are some people that want a couple of things that maybe I don't like or that they're not going to get. But I think we're going to have tremendous, not luck, we have tremendous talent. This man has done an incredible job as speaker. I think we're a very unified party. The Senate's doing great. John Thune is doing fantastically. He's a great guy. And we're going to have a bill, the one big, beautiful bill. I think it's going to be, it's the biggest bill ever passed, and we got to get it done. Tremendous tax cuts for people, tremendous incentives, tremendous regulation cuts, all these regulations that are so horrible. But we're going up the details. This is I'm a cheerleader for this party, and I'm a cheerleader for the country, much more importantly for the country. But I'm a cheerleader for the party, and we're going to go up, and I think we're going to have a very good discussion. There are one or two points that some people feel strongly about, but maybe not so strongly. We are looking at one thing. We're not doing any cutting of anything meaningful. The only thing we're cutting
Meaningful.
fraud is with Medicaid.
That's right.
Waste, fraud, and abuse.
Medicaid.
There's tremendous waste, fraud, and abuse. We're not changing Medicaid, and we're not changing Medicare, and we're not changing Social Security. And if I wanted to do those things, I would have done it during my 4 years that we were.
Okay, so let me stop sharing that. What are you clapping about, Keith?
He doesn't know. A white boy
Well,
said
because of
something,
what
and
he
he's
just
happy
said.
about it.
What he just said, and I trust him that he's telling
I
the truth.
trust him.
He's not
His
going
own
to
wife
do
doesn't
anything.
even trust
He's
him,
not going to cut
dingbat.
Medicaid. He's not going to cut Social Security. He's not going to cut Medicare. He's not going to cut any of those things.
He
What
is
he's going to
so.
do is get rid of the waste and fraud. You heard
By
it out of his
doing
own
what?
mouth.
How is he
You
going to
heard.
do that? How is he
You
going to do
heard
that?
him.
Never.
He's going to cut out the
heard
waste
He's
him.
never
and
going to
fraud.
answer this
Okay,
question.
You
so
heard him.
all right, so wait a minute. Stop.
You don't like that.
So let me ask you this. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, couldn't close the deal, meaning that he could not have this bill passed by himself without President Trump coming to his rescue. Why is that, Cousin Todd?
Wait, you can't. Okay, that's a whole nother topic, and I'll get to that part of it. But I just want to focus on what is he going to cut in terms of Medicaid, waste, fraud, and abuse. Those are just statements. So now tell me specifically how he's going to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. He won't tell you that, and you
You'll
can't tell
find
me
out.
that.
They did. They're going to get the. They're going to get the illegals. They're going to get the illegals.
Stop. You gotta let him finish.
I'm not
finish. Go ahead,
asking
Cousin
you.
Todd.
I'm not asking you, Stephen. I know you're way too.
You
stupid
asked a
to
question.
answer.
I want to give you
Not
an
to
answer.
you. So he's going to put people off of Medicaid who shouldn't be put off Medicaid. He's
Illegal
going
aliens.
Illegal aliens.
He's going to. Can you stop talking? That's not going to be enough, dum-dums.
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Now, okay. I can't.
You all have to stop talking so he can finish, and then I
Yeah,
can.
because they're so dumb, ignorant, and uneducated. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yeah, you wouldn't know if he was going to do that or not, dumb. So it's not enough money to just get the illegals off. No, he's got to cut. So what he's going to do, and he said this, you were too dumb to listen. He said he's going to make work requirements, dumb. So people like we know, some people can't work. And I think you know some people who cannot work. And so he's going to force them to work, and they're too sick to work. This is the trick I'm talking about. Some people can't work. They're ill. And I'm sure you know some people like that. And so you're going to force them to work a certain amount of hours a week. That is cruel. And that should not be done. Stay off of Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security. Why don't you tackle something else? Those are for the vulnerable people, which you know, not people who are able-bodied. So if you're elderly, you're on Social Security, leave them alone. They've already worked. If you're on Medicaid, that means you have an illness.
I know.
Leave them alone.
Yeah,
Okay.
we could both
Can
dispute what you're saying.
Can I say this?
No.
Let me say something.
No. Go ahead, Stephen.
Bill Clinton did the same thing. He did that with welfare. He called it workfare. They're getting people that are able-bodied, not people like my sister who's passed away. They couldn't walk or do anything. They left that the way it is. But people who are able, they got them jobs and they got them working. They get them a purpose in their life. And they extended their lives by getting them to work around people. They could have a whole better life. They could have a whole life where they didn't before, where they just live in one room. So what they do, that's a positive thing to give people this. And they still get their benefits. What we have here is a system where people are taking advantage of it and they're just sitting on their ass and not doing anything, and they need to contribute. Everybody needs to contribute that whatever they can. You contribute. That's in the Bible as well. You don't work, you don't eat, you contribute. And if you can't work, then we will take care of you. We'll take care of the poor, the very poor. And then the people that have no parents, that's what we do. That's what this country does. It's taking us back to the basics, Todd.
That's
you know what that
Medicaid.
does? That saves Medicare down the road, or Medicaid or whatever. It saves these programs that we have, because now we have millions of people from other countries using our Medicaid or Medicare or whatever it is, using all of our services, and they're weakening it for people like you who don't want to work, that needs all these services.
People
These people that come in from other countries and they invaded our country, they're taking everything from us away from the people that have been here all our lives, like you have. We deserve to get more being American citizens than people who have been here since yesterday, Todd. We all need to agree to this. We all need to agree that we're more special as American-born people. Right, Stacey? Do you agree, Stacey?
I don't necessarily agree with
I know you don't agree, Stacey. That's why I said, Stacey, do you agree? It was a rhetorical question. I knew you wouldn't agree with me. And that's the way it is. Walter Cronkite.
What we have on the screen: spending cuts proposed. Medicaid. The bill proposes significant cuts to Medicaid.
Did you hear that, dum-dum?
Todd, stop, please. Including work requirements for able-bodied adults, more frequent eligibility checks, and removing undocumented migrants from eligibility. Additionally, food stamps, SNAP program. The bill aims to tighten eligibility requirements for SNAP, including work requirements for adults aged 55 to 64 and children.
Are you kidding me?
Some of the costs to the states. So my question would be this: based on that,
that's hungry children.
Excuse me, the House has to send this bill to the Senate. We have a state like my family's home state of West Virginia, where a majority of people do receive benefits from Medicaid and SNAP. They are majority voters for Trump. I'm sure the senators from West Virginia that are Republican will not send that bill back to the House the same way it came. And why is that, Keith?
He thinks they will.
Well, first of all,
why is that, Keith?
First of all, why is it? First of all, there should not be a majority of people on Medicaid. Come on, that tells me something.
They're on
that
Medicaid.
Tells me a great deal about the country, and they shouldn't be. They should not be. There should not be a majority of Americans. That means that the economy has not supported these people in terms of being able to get their own jobs. There are not a majority of people that are sick, so sick that they can't work.
How do you know that?
I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. See, you got to know who's writing this, and you got to know who's putting this information out there. So
to get on
I would
Medicaid,
say that people
you have
need
to see
to
a
work.
doctor.
They need the opportunity to work. So with him lowering the tax rate among the people, if he's lowering taxes, then that makes the economy better, along with the tariffs. The economy will improve, and people should go to work. If you can work.
2025, please look at the screen. In 2025, you see that? West Virginia has an estimated 503,637 residents receiving Medicaid, which is about 30% of the state's population. West Virginia has expanded Medicaid coverage.
That's ridiculous.
Under the Affordable Care Act, extending benefits to nearly all adults with incomes up to 138% of the federal poverty level. For a single adult in 2025, this amounts to a total annual income of $21,500 $597.
That's ridiculous. See, they're
I'm not
expanding
done,
it to people,
Keith.
and people are getting on it.
Keith, I'm not done. Thank you.
Hmm.
Additionally, West Virginia residents 65 and over who do not meet the financial eligibility requirements can still qualify. They're elderly, can still qualify for long-term Medicaid care. So, West Virginia voted for Donald Trump. West Virginia senators both of them are Republican. How, Cousin Todd, can they send his bill back as it came out of the House? How can they send it back without marking up the West Virginia senators and think it won't affect the residents of their state?
Well, they do think it will affect. They
Right.
do think it will affect their voters, and they're not going to vote for it because those people in West Virginia want to keep their jobs. And so they cannot vote yes for this bill. This is why there should be health care for all Americans. It should be a birthright. Now, when you hear Republicans say, no health care for poor people, which is what they're saying. If you're poor, like Stephen and Keith, and you happen to not be married to a woman who has insurance that you leech off of, I'm not calling any names. If
would you be referring to, Cousin Todd?
Anybody who's ineligible for health care on their own, but they happen to be married to somebody who has it, so they get the benefits of it. But without that person, they would be on, they wouldn't have health care. And so when that happens, they get amnesic and say, oh, they should get it. Well, you're sorry.
That's the benefit of being married, Todd. That's the benefit of being married.
Of course, use her up. I know. Use her up.
Try it.
Use her up.
You need to try it.
Okay,
what do you think,
I'm going to move on.
No,
well, Stacey, can I ask you why the poor needs Medicaid or anything at all? Why the poor needs anything? The poor can go into the emergency room and get all the help they need any time of day. Why do they need medic? Why are we worried about the poor? Everybody in the
shut up. This is what I was trying to get to, so he wouldn't have had to ask that question. Everybody should be able to get health care, whether you're rich, poor, or in between. That way, Medicaid would not exist because everybody would have health care. What Republicans don't tell you is that, hey, if you're poor, die.
No, they don't.
Just shut up. Nobody tells you the facts. The facts are, by the time you go to the emergency room, dumb, it is too late for you. Let me give you an example. Your stomach is bothering you, and your stomach has been bothering you for weeks and weeks and weeks, which turns into months. And so you don't go to the doctor because you got a stomach ache. Who cares? You go to work at your little job at McDonald's or your little job at Walmart or Target. So you go to work. Well, 6 weeks turns into 6 months, and now you're doubled over in pain.
Why didn't you go to the doctor before?
Because you can't afford it.
You can go to the emergency room for nothing.
Listen to me, dumb.
Oh my God!
You don't know that, but they bill you idiot.
You go to the emergency room. You don't have to pay nothing.
You do.
You can do that on the first day. You get a bellyache, dumb.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
Listen to me carefully. No, you
can't be
dumb and ignorant.
Good Lord.
They charge you, dummy. You don't know that, but they
eat more meat and eggs.
So
help your brain.
And you tell these idiots, you get a bill for going to the emergency room. You get charged for that, idiots.
No, you don't.
Oh
everybody has the right. They have to see you at the hospital. Everybody gets care at the hospital. You still
get billed for that, dumb.
Nobody's paying it, man. You're illegal. You don't pay it. Ain't nobody paying it. Come on,
let me finish
Todd.
what I was saying.
If you don't have an
Let him
address, you're not
Let him
paying a
finish.
bill.
Let him finish, please. Thank
This
you.
just
Finish, Todd, and I
wasted a
gotta
lot
move.
of time. But
You don't
this
know
is what
anything about being
ignorant
poor because
people-
you don't know any poor
This is
people.
what ignorant people think, that you don't get billed. Just go to emergency room. Don't get billed. You get billed, you idiot. Oh, it just kills me. This is such a waste of
Finish
time.
up, Todd.
I'm
Finish
talking
up.
to
I gotta
somebody
move on.
who's okay. So you get billed for going to the emergency room,
No.
and by the time you do that, you are very sick. Now, this happened to quite a few people. Aretha Franklin was one of them, who went to the emergency room, doubled over. Her stomach had been bothering her. And then turns out by the time she got to the hospital to check this thing out, she had cancer.
Did you say
At
Aretha
an
Franklin?
advanced stage
couldn't
of
afford it?
cancer.
Did you say
Aretha
Aretha Franklin?
She couldn't
Oh,
afford
God.
it.
It's because she was black?
Look at these idiots.
What are you, an idiot?
Mute these idiots. Mute
Todd,
them.
finish up.
I'm
Finish up.
trying to,
Aretha
but you won't
Franklin?
mute these idiots.
Stop and move on, please.
So, and so it was too late. She already had advanced stage cancer. So this happens to not only her, countless people, because they do not go to the doctor until it's too late. Now, had they had insurance, they would have gone the first day, like he said. First day they got a little stomach ache. Oh, I better go to the doctor and see about this. But when you do not have insurance, you don't go to the emergency room, wasting time and money because you are billed.
All
And
right. You said that 10 times.
this
But he's
idiot
wrong.
keeps saying,
The
no,
more you
no,
say
you're
it, the
not
more wrong
billed.
you are.
Okay, I got to move on.
And no, Stacey, before you
Maybe
move on,
I've been
why
poor.
don't you
I know
tell
what the
these
deal is,
idiots
brother.
that they are billed in an emergency room?
Okay.
For example, they charge you, I think it was $100 or almost $100 for Tylenol, and and this is before you even saw the doctor.
Okay, I got to move
I
on.
saw the bill, idiot.
Okay, thank you. Habeas corpus. I'm going to start with Keith. What's habeas corpus?
In
He
essence,
doesn't know.
in the
He
simplest
doesn't know.
form,
I'll
habeas
tell you.
corpus is the right to citizens, the right of citizens to be tried, to have due process. It's simple as that.
Okay, thank you. Stephen, what is habeas corpus?
Yeah, January 6th, people, they didn't get no habeas corpuses. They didn't have a right to a trial. A lot of them never got to see a judge. They were passed around from prison to prison. They spent their time in solitary confinement. They never got a trial. They spent 4 years basically in solitary confinement. And that's what happened to these people in this country that supported Donald Trump. And it's a tragedy. And it's going to be rectified and it's going to be fixed, because January 6th was a setup. And these guys were treated miserably because they supported this guy. This is third world crap that we had in our country. And the people that support the other side, the people on the other side, you're going to pay for it, because there's a new sheriff in town. There's a new sheriff in town, and everything that you thought you had wrapped up ain't wrapped up no more, because we're in charge now. And you need to back up and be conciliatory, because the time has come for retribution to happen, and retribution is going to happen, because you were terrible to the Donald Trump and Donald Trump's people. Y'all were all terrible, and everything's going to come back to you 20 times over. And the left party and the deep state and Comey 86-47 and threatening to kill.
We're not doing that. Cousin Todd, what is habeas corpus?
All of that's going to stop.
What does habeas corpus mean?
I want to know what he was talking about.
I don't care. What does habeas corpus mean?
He sounds like a Klan member. We gonna get you. We gonna get
That's
y'all.
a Democrat
We
party.
gonna get y'all.
No,
the Klan is a Democrat party.
No, he sounded the same way. The director of the FBI, the current director of the FBI, said he was going to turn the FBI headquarters into a museum of the deep state. He wasn't being racist. The FBI director said the same thing. He wasn't being racist. Todd, what is habeas corpus?
You said the FBI was not being racist?
No, the director. Director said he's going to shut down the headquarters of the FBI and
make it a museum.
Make it a museum for the deep state. So he said the same.
That's not what Stephen said.
We're all in the same.
You're going to get retribution.
It's going to be retribution. That we weren't allowed to say retribution, but that's what's coming. Because the bad guys did bad things. They were illegal.
Okay, he said the same thing. And my point is, it had nothing to do with race. It had to do being for or against Donald Trump.
Right.
That's what he was saying. I don't think he was being racist.
Just a minute,
What's
Stacey.
Habeas
You're
Nothing
wrong
racist.
because Stephen said himself, I thought Donald Trump was going to do something bad to black people.
That's not what he said just now.
See,
I've never said anything about
hey.
Donald Trump doing anything bad to
Did you
black
see
people,
that?
dumbass.
Did you see that? Did
Okay,
you see that,
sorry.
Stacey? Stacey, did
Because,
he say that or not?
I don't remember what is habeas corpus.
I can't. I don't remember. Okay, I'm not answering either.
Okay,
You
great.
had the nerve
Thank
to
you.
say, I don't remember. You know you remember. We discussed it.
I don't
I
remember
said,
that.
what now?
I'm gonna move on.
I'll tell you exactly what you said. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Not in a second. I've got to move on. Thank you. I will listen to it. I will hear it, Todd, but let's hear this.
It's full of crap.
Well, habeas corpus is a constitutional right that the president has to be able to remove people from this country and suspend their right
let me stop you, ma'am.
Suspend their
Habeas
right
corpus, excuse me, that's incorrect.
President
Habeas
Lincoln
corpus,
used it.
excuse me. Habeas corpus is the legal principle that requires that the government provide a public reason for detaining and imprisoning people. If not for that protection, the government could simply arrest people, including American citizens, and hold them indefinitely for no reason. Habeas corpus is the foundational right that separates free societies like America from police states like North Korea. As a senator from the Live Free or Die state, this matters a lot to me and my constituents and to all Americans. So Secretary Noem, do you support the core protection that habeas corpus provides, that the government must provide a public reason in order to detain and imprison someone?
Yeah, I support habeas corpus. I also recognize that the president of the United States has the authority under the Constitution to decide if it should be suspended or not.
It has never
Let us be clear, though,
it
that
has
this
never
president,
been done. It has never been done without approval of Congress. Even Abraham Lincoln got retroactive approval from Congress.
Okay.
That lady was incorrect. She didn't describe it correctly. It did. That lady
she did
was wrong.
describe it correctly, and let me share.
No.
She did, and let me share
No.
my screen. She did.
No, she didn't.
Let me share my screen. We're
All you have to
talking
do
about
is look
that
at
because
Wikipedia.
the Trump team is mulling, according to APnews.com. The Trump team is mulling or thinking about suspending the constitutional right of habeas corpus to speed deportations.
Well, they should. Well, they should, Stacey.
Yeah, they should.
They should.
Because what?
Huh?
Because these people are combatives. They are
Right, because our
combatives.
country was invaded, and we need to get them out. There was nothing that kept these people out. There's about 25 million people invaded our country, Stacey. We need them out of our country. You're not going to have a country with that. You are talking about
Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there. If you look at this AP article, it says that the Constitution is clear. This is what the Trump team is saying. The Constitution is clear, and that, of course, is that the supreme law of the land, that the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus can be suspended in time of an invasion. The problem with that thinking is we are not being invaded.
Bull crap.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
We have not been invaded. We have not been invaded.
Yes, we have.
Been invaded.
Yes, we have.
About
These
invasion.
people.
They're talking
these people
about
that are.
war. They're talking about war and invasion of people coming in.
No, we were invaded.
No, we were not.
Yes, we were.
We were not.
Anytime you
Yes, we
commit a
were.
crime
Yes,
against
we
an
were.
American citizen, that is an invasion if you are
That
not a
is
citizen.
not-
There's tens of thousands of Chinese military-age people in this country right now. There's different gangs in this country from all over the world. There's 170 countries that put their worst people in this country. That's an invasion, Stacey. I'm sorry you don't understand what an invasion is, but that is an invasion. That's what they did. They invaded our country. The last administration did not even just let it happen. They facilitated it. They made it happen to destroy this country, Stacey. I'm sorry you can't figure it out, or maybe you're complacent. Maybe this is what you want, Stacey. Maybe you want the country to be destroyed so your communist dream of ecstasy can come true, Stacey. Maybe that's what you want. But yes, my God, 20 million people came in.
All right, you're gonna stop talking.
An invasion.
You're gonna stop talking.
That's an invasion.
You're going to stop talking. This is the time that the United States has previously suspended habeas corpus. APnews.com says the United States has suspended habeas corpus under 4 distinct circumstances during history. It usually involved authorization from Congress, something that would be nearly impossible today, even at Trump's urging, given the narrow Republican majorities in the House and Senate. President Abraham Lincoln suspended habeas corpus multiple times amid the Civil War, during a war, an actual war, beginning in 1861 to detain suspected spies and Confederate sympathizers. He ignored a ruling from Roger Taney, who was a Supreme Court Chief Justice, but was acting in the case as a circuit judge. Congress then authorized suspending it in 1863, which allowed Lincoln to do so again. Congress acted similarly under President Ulysses Grant, suspending habeas corpus in parts of South Carolina under Civil Rights Act 1871, also known as the Ku Klux Klan Act. It was meant to counter violence and intimidations of groups opposing Reconstruction in the South. Habeas corpus was suspended in 2 provinces of the Philippines in 1905 when it was a U.S. territory, and authorities were worried about the threat of an insurrection, and in Hawaii after the 1941 bombing of Pearl Harbor, but before Hawaii became a state in 1959. So that's when habeas corpus has been suspended in the United States under the circumstances where there was war or there would be a war, not because people came into our country seeking to become citizens.
They're not seeking to become citizens, Stacey.
You got to understand.
They're not seeking to become citizens, Stacey. They don't want to come into our country and be citizens, Stacey.
Yeah. The people that
maybe a few of them do, maybe some of them do, but a lot of them don't. And it is an invasion.
Illegal immigrants who are illegal aliens who have committed crimes of murder and mayhem against American people.
Stacey wants them to stay here, Keith. Stacey wants them to stay here. You want MS-13 and Venezuelan gangs to stay here, Stacey. There's a problem with you.
That's not true. I never said that.
You have a problem.
I never said that. What I said was the circumstances under which the United States suspended the habeas corpus, and it was under wartime that they did that, not when migrants were coming in.
They're not migrants, Stacey. They're not migrants.
Or emigrating to the United States.
They're not immigrating to the United States. They're not migrants. If they're migrants, they're going to do it right. I know a South African girl that's over here now. She's doing it right. She's doing it the right way. She didn't do it illegally. And she's not a bad person. And she doesn't have a list of people that she killed and raped. This is the people that y'all are trying to keep in this country. Now, why, Stacey? Why do the Democrats go over there to the MS-13 guy to his prison and try to have tequila with him and drink with him? Why do they do that, Stacey? Why do you support that, Stacey? You don't make any sense.
Look at him.
You don't make any sense, Todd. Why would you support that? That the worst people that they were let in this country, you dumbasses want to keep them in here. Now, tell me why. Tell me why me and Keith are wrong. Tell me why we're wrong.
War to send people back.
We don't have to be at war. They're preparing war inside. It was a Trojan horse. Do y'all know history? It was a Trojan horse brought into this country. We have never been so we have never been so gosh darn vulnerable ever in this country right now because of the administration you two support. Do you understand what you've done to this country?
Yes.
Do you understand how guilty you are?
History to you.
Y'all are guilty. The only thing y'all have done to this country has made it worse. The only thing you do when you disagree with us is violence. Y'all are bad people. Y'all are horrible people. Y'all are the KKK. Y'all are BLM. You're Antifa. You burn down Elon Musk stores or whatever. You firebomb them. You're bad people. You support people who go through colleges and attack Jewish people because they're Jewish. You are the evil in this country. You are the bad people that make it so horrible. Now, what is it going to take for y'all to have a conversion? For y'all to come up and see what's going on?
All right. Thank you for your comment. I'm moving on.
Well, no rebuttal.
Okay, go
We
ahead.
know history. We know history.
I went through the rebuttal, but
History
you weren't
is
here.
okay. Well, he said you don't know history. Well, history is you people are invaders. You Europeans, you're invaders, and you have amnesia when you call Mexicans invaders. It's you, European. Go back to where you came from before you invaded this country and poisoned and killed the people who were here before you got here. Huh? Remember? You common criminals? Go back to, you look like you're Irish. Go back to Ireland.
So you're a hypocrite.
Hypocrite.
You want the whites to go back to Europe, but you don't want the brownskins to go back to their country,
The
Central America.
brownskins built this country. The brownskins were here when whites invaded it, dum-dum.
No, they weren't.
Who was
No, they
here
weren't.
when they invaded it?
These recent
You
illegal
tell me,
aliens, they weren't
you tell
here.
me who was here when
They weren't here.
Europeans invaded. He won't answer this,
Not
Stacey.
this generation.
Who was
Nobody
here?
in this.
Who was
Nobody in
here
this
when
generation.
The white people
Europeans
build every country they go
invaded?
to. The white people are the reason that we have all these great countries. That's why. Because the white people built this country. Nobody built
They
this country
didn't build-
picking
that was
cotton,
slaves, you
Todd.
dumb
Nobody
idiot.
built this country
That was
picking
slaves that
cotton,
built the
Todd.
White House,
Every
you
country that is
dum-dum.
good in this entire world has a majority of white people like this country does.
Well,
And you
well,
hate
Stephen,
white
Stephen,
people, but you benefit from everything white people do for you.
Stephen,
You hate
sound
us for
Like
making your
what?
life better.
you
That
sound-
makes you
How do you make-
retarded, Todd.
How did you
All
make
right.
my life better?
Stephen, you sound racist. And I'm very
He
disappointed.
is
to hear that.
racist. He
So,
is racist.
I
Wait a
wanna
minute. How
share-
come Todd? How come you never say that with Todd?
Huh? Well, don't
sounds
talk about
racist
my
too.
boyfriend. That's my boy
Okay.
toy.
Todd is
All
the
you
racist.
do is put down white people, Todd. If it
No, I
wasn't for
don't.
us,
I
you would
tell
have
the
nothing.
truth.
faces a
You'd have
nearly
nothing.
$1 million fine for not leaving the country 20 years ago per a removal order. CBS News correspondent Nydia Cavazos reports on the immigration law enforcing her fine and how the mother of three is responding.
The Florida undocumented immigrant who is now facing a $1.8 million fine was initially issued the removal order back in 2005. And so this almost $2 million fine actually reflects a daily $500 civil fine for every single day that she refused to comply with this removal order and failed to self-deport. Now, this is actually a regulation under the Immigration and Nationality Act that actually stems back from 1952, but it's historically been an immigration law that has rarely been enforced. But now, under the Trump administration, back in February, the Department of Homeland Security announced that they would be enforcing immigration laws. They wouldn't necessarily be, quote, cherry picking which ones to enforce. And this is the same Immigration Act that is also now requiring anyone who is living in the U.S. without legal status to register with the U.S. government. Now, as for this Florida immigrant who is also a mother of three U.S. citizen children, we spoke to her immigration lawyer in Florida, Michelle Sanchez, who says she's ready to contest her client's fine, given that her client was never made aware of the potential consequences of refusing to comply with the removal order and choosing to self-deport back in 2005. Back to you.
All right, I'm going to stop that. And I want to show you the situation that was reported by Reuters. And this will be our roundtable because we are out of time. Okay. Ortiz, 32, earns $13 an hour. She earns $13 an hour working at a meat.
This is going nowhere. Okay.
A meat packing plant in Pennsylvania. She's lived in the United States for a decade after fleeing El Salvador to escape a violent ex-partner and gang threat, she said in an interview and in immigration paperwork. Her salary barely covers rent and expenses for her autistic 6-year-old United citizen son.
They don't care about any of that you just said.
How can she said, it's not fair. Where am I going to find
They don't care.
$8 million
Oh gosh,
to
this
pay
is
as a
going
fine.
nowhere.
The steep fines are part of Trump's aggressive push to get immigrants in the U.S. illegally to leave the country voluntarily or self-deport. The recipients of these notices were informed that they had 30 days to contest in writing, under oath, and with evidence as to why the penalty should not be imposed. This is our roundtable. We're going to start with Keith, then Stephen, and Cousin Todd. Keith.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so you point out one individual, and we don't even know both sides of the story. So I can't really comment too much about it. I can just say that she's caught up in the bureaucracy in the system. And when you come to this country, whether it's legally or illegally, I repeat, whether it's legally or illegally, you are still held accountable to whatever the laws are of that land, of the government. So if those laws work in your favor, fine, great, praise the Lord, you made it. If they don't, you got to deal with it.
Stephen.
8647, the former head of the FBI, Comey, who hates Donald Trump because Donald Trump fired him, put out a post with 8647, which is eliminate the 47th president or kill the 47th president. Man, the
How
man's
do
had
you know that?
two attempts on his life because I'm not stupid, Todd. And,
Oh,
and this is what the deep state. Was the head, like one of the head guys of the
When's
deep
the
state. And
last
he's
time
still
you heard
with the deep
somebody say
state.
86?
And Comey is a really bad guy. And this is what we're fighting on this side. We're good people. Our side doesn't want to kill anybody. We never threaten to kill anybody. We don't burn things down. We don't beat up people. We don't pull people out of their cars. We don't block streets. We don't blow buildings up. We don't do things like you do, Todd. We're not like your side, Todd. We don't do the things that you do because we're good people and we believe in God and we love people. You hate people. You hate yourself. So when you can stop hating yourself, you'll stop hating me for being a white man. And then understand that our souls have no color and we're all the same people. And that when you can grow up and get beyond that, and get to like, I don't know how old you are, but maybe it takes a certain age or something that you can finally get over that, but you're not. You're like a little 15-year-old little boy being racist towards me for white people in general. We're not going to take it anymore. We're not going to take all the racism that's been thrown upon us because we don't deserve it. We're good people. You're good people. We're all the same. We all come from the same God. All of our souls are the same color, and we're tired of it. And the white man and white people in general have been beat down for way too long. And I'm not taking it, and there's a lot of other white people ain't taking it all over the world, Todd. We're tired of it. We're just as good as everybody else, but y'all have beat us down in this country for shit we never did to you. We have always been cool. We've always been friends, Stacy. We've always been cool. But people like Todd, it just makes it horrible. Why can't we all just love each other and have a great time? That's all we need. Right, Keith? That we could have heaven on earth. Am I right, Keith? Absolutely, brother. We could all be right there together. Why do you got to hate? Why do you have to hate?
You're so two-faced. You're the one that said, we're going to get you. Y'all going to get it now because we in charge.
Anybody that did us wrong.
Do your roundtable, please. We're out of time.
Okay. I was just making sure everybody knew how two-faced, what a two-faced con artist he is after just preaching about, we going to get y'all because we in charge now. And there's nothing y'all can do about it. Now, y'all evil. And we going to get retribution on you. Okay, he just talked about getting retribution. And now he's talking about how nice we white people are. And you know what? I'm going to be very honest with you, Todd. We're just great people. And if it wasn't for the white people, you wouldn't be anything. Yeah, you'd be nothing. You people wouldn't have anything. But whites came over and we helped you guys. I can't. So anyway, this story you were telling about self-deporting, it's just really a waste of time. Nobody is going to self-deport. It's silly. They came here because of, she just said she was being abused by her husband. She was afraid of the gang violence. The same thing Trump just said when he brought all these white South Africans back here, refugees. And he says he wants to bring the best and the brightest. And they're not the best and the brightest. They barely have any education. So what are they going to offer America? Nothing. They'll be on the dole like Stephen and Keith don't want. They'll be on welfare. They'll be taking your money, your tax dollars, and they'll be getting your health care that you don't even have. And so everything you didn't want, Trump just did. And what Trump wants to have is a race war. This is why he's doing these things, like bringing white South Africans in. Why bring these ignorant white South African poor people here when he said he wants the best and the brightest, the most educated?
That's so stupid.
Okay, thank you, Todd. Are you
All
finished?
he's going to do? No, these people don't have any money. They're not from wealthy backgrounds, so they're going to be sucking off of Americans. This is exactly what Stephen just said he didn't want. He doesn't want people coming over here sucking off Americans. He just finished saying this about the Mexicans. Remember, Stacey? Now all of a sudden he's all for
I didn't
it.
say Mexicans.
I didn't use the word Mexicans. I said brown people.
But
I didn't use the word Mexican.
But 20 some million people as opposed to 50 is what you're talking about.
He's not finished, ding dong. He's not finished. He's just getting started. So you're a contradiction, just like your president. He brought people over here to suck off of Americans. They're not the best and the brightest. Yes. And he's just getting started. And so if he's cutting Medicaid, why is he bringing these poor people in here?
Because they're white. They're white. They're going to work.
What are they going to work doing? Picking fruit off of trees?
No, they're going to go work with Elon Musk.
Ma'am.
They'd be part of those. Yeah, because they're probably really smart. You don't know who these people are. You know nothing about them, Todd.
Yes,
all you can do is guess and speculate. You don't
uneducated.
know anything, Todd. You're just talking out of your rear end.
They don't have the education.
You don't know what they have.
I do
Okay,
know.
Todd, sum it up.
don't.
Todd, sum it up.
So
that's right.
What they're going to have to do is take money from America to live. They're going to be housed free of charge. Just the same thing Stephen and Keith were talking about. They didn't want brown people to have. They're going to be taking money from Americans. They're going to be getting health care free. The same exact thing they're complaining about the Mexicans. So they're two-faced con artists, double talking hypocrites. And I can't deal with them. Bye, Felicia's.
To our first responders in our communities, you make our lives livable. Thank you, thank you, thank you. To the women and men of the U.S. military for all that you do in sacrificing your lives so that we are free to say and show cats on this show. We are forever indebted.
She's a cat lady.
On behalf of the person who's off tonight, the voice of reason, Keith, the constitutional conservative, Stephen, the independent
cat lady.
and my cousin Todd. I'm Stacey Johnson. Let's keep this conversation going on X, Twitch, Stephanie Salworth's The Flow Television Network, Facebook. Where else are we? Instagram. And check us out on TikTok at Sporlitiks.com and YouTube at Sporlitiks, where we've been on since 2011, where sports and politics mix and mingle. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Next week. Wait, what's next week's date? We're going to be off soon.
Oh my gosh. Are we off next week for Memorial? Was it?
I don't know. Let me look at the date.
I'm glad you said that, Todd. I think
know.
we're off next week for Memorial.
Wait a minute. Let me see.
Yeah, it is because I'm off for a week. I'm going to DC for a week.
Yeah, that's next week.
I'm gonna have some discussions with Trump.
27th. It's the 27th. So we'll be off.
Right. So
next
we'll be
week.
off. Thank you. We're off next week. Ooh, wee. So excited. So we won't see you next week. We will see you when? We'll see you in live. We'll see you live in June.
Yeah, the week after
June
that,
3rd.
which is
June
June
3rd.
Okay.
We'll see you June 3rd. But
Yeah.
if you miss us, please go to Sporlitiks at YouTube and look at any of our previous shows. You can catch them.
Yeah, look at and try to look for the one where Steven said, I was afraid Donald Trump was going to do something bad to black people. Look for
that was
show.
when he
show.
before he got elected the first time. It was like 2015. That's when I was worried about it.
Hey, crazy! You just said you never said it. Now
No,
you
I misunderstood what you said. Todd, I misunderstood what you
Get
said.
out my face.
No,
You're
I said I
crazy.
thought that Trump administration would
Shut
not
up
be
before I go across
advantageous
your
for
face.
black people. That's why I was a never Trumper at first. That was one of the
You
reasons
hear
I was a
this
never Trumper, because I
con
thought he wasn't
artist?
going to be cool with people of color. That's what I
said
thought. I
that.
didn't
You
know.
said
But when
no.
I saw he
didn't
was
say that.
cool,
That's a
when I
lie.
saw he
That's
was
a lie.
cool
I didn't
with
say
people
that.
of color,
didn't say
then
that.
I knew he was a good guy.
out of my face.
Donald
You're
Trump loves
crazy.
everybody. Donald Trump
You're
treats everybody the
crazy.
same. He doesn't care
Donald
what you
Trump-
are. He cares about your soul. Donald
Get
Trump's
out
a
of
good
my- How
guy,
did you
and
know?
Donald Trump was
How do you know? How was
tapped
he
on
in
his
there?
shoulder by God. I
How do
firmly
you know
believe that
Of
that's
course.
why this country and the
And
world is
so
going to be a better place because
he
of
was
Donald
tapped on
Trump
the
and the
shoulder by
people who
God
support
when?
him. And the sooner
when did
you
God
support
tap
Donald
him?
Trump, the better your life will be too.
Very good.
The
All
devil
right.
is a liar.
Are you done, Sexy?
Yes, we're done.
All right, everybody.
Good night.
Man, y'all have a great night.
Happy Memorial Day weekend.
Happy Memorial Day. Peace and love. I'm taking my birthday off next week.
Oh, happy birthday, Stephen.
You don't turn 21 every year.
What are you going to do for your birthday? Go over Keith's house?
No, I'm headed up to DC. I got a bunch of stuff to do in DC for about a week. And it's going to be a lot of fun.
Go near the Capitol building.
I'm going to go in the Capitol building for old time's sake.
Excuse me, as Aguna would say, please just stop and get a visitor's pass.
Ah, that's all you got to do. If you had a visitor's pass, if you don't have a visitor's pass, you get charged $50. But they went a little overboard on these guys, and it's all coming out now. And January 6th is going to be in everybody's face, and everybody that ever doubted it's going to be really upset that our country did this to our own American people, no matter who they liked or what color they are or whatever. But we didn't like Japanese people being put in internment camps. So what happened to January 6th, guys, was an abomination to the human spirit and to the Constitution. It was awful. It was so horrific. What they went through was terrible. These people, they never even got, for 4 years, so a lot of them didn't even get a court case. They just kept moving around. They moved them around. It was awful.
Let me play the video real quick. You want me to play that video, Todd?
Yeah, might as well.
Which one?
Stephen and Keith both said, look at that.
No, I ain't watching it. No, you know what that is? That's Antifa. That's the CIA. That's not MAGA. Guess what? MAGA don't do that. MAGA don't do that. That's not MAGA people doing that. I promise you. Todd, bet me everything you have, Todd. I'm telling you that's FBI, Antifa, FBI. Bet me everything you have that you don't know what I'm saying is true. I'll bet you $100,000, Todd, that you're wrong. Y'all have been wrong about January 6th since the beginning. The deep state has controlled the.
Which is what you said, and Keith said the same thing.
What?
Whoever did that should go to jail. Breaking those windows.
That was the first day it happened. But those people who broke the windows never went to jail because they were part of the FBI.
Hi, Felicia.
That's Antifa. That's your government that did that. Watch.
Good night.
Bet me anything you want.
Stephen, I believe you are incorrect. Our government.
I swear to God, Stacey, I bet you my life. I bet you my eyes. I bet you all of my family. I bet you everything. Y'all have been 100% wrong. And I swear to God, put my soul in hell if I'm wrong. I swear to God, y'all are so wrong about January 6th. You know nothing. You know nothing. You know nothing, but you're going to know. And it's coming out soon. And Stacey, you're going to owe me an apology. Because y'all don't know anything what you're talking about. It was the biggest put on ever. There was